Today in a New York federal courtroom, Sean Diddy Combs told the judge he was, quote, a little nervous. The rap mogul's criminal trial began this morning. He is trafficking, racketeering, and more. The two sides are now in the process of selecting a jury of 12 plus alternates.
You put Johnny Depp on the stand. It's always a high-risk strategy. It worked for you. If you were representing Sean Diddy Combs, would you put him up?
Well, we put Johnny up because he was telling the truth. So that was a very easy decision to make, and he had the burden of proof, and frankly, we couldn't have stopped him even if we wanted to, but we didn't want to. Telling the truth as he did over several days, you're not telling the truth, skilled attorneys on the other side are going to puncture that. I believe in that system. I think in this case, I don't think he's got any choice. Given that video, he's got to explain it. He's got to say that he's terribly sorry for it, but that was an aberration. That's not who he is. He simply has to say that.
With the selection of a jury in the Sean Diddy Combs case almost complete, prosecutors are preparing for opening arguments on Monday. But they admit there's a snag. One of their key witnesses against the rapper appears to have gone missing. This comes as we learn that Combs' ex-girlfriend, who was seen on video being assaulted by the rapper, is pregnant.
There's been a delay in jury selection in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. The judge postponing the last phase of the process until Monday.
What role do you think it's possible Christian Combs could play in his father's criminal case?
The government loves superseding indictments. The government loves indicting your relatives. Why? Nothing is worse. Right now, Diddy's sitting in a jail cell. What could be worse? The thought of your son also sitting in a jail cell.
I think that if we're talking about additional charges and additional defendants, those are probably two of the more likely. And Christian, of course, was the subject of a civil lawsuit where there was a sexual allegation naming him directly.
The government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise, and they actually...
Diddy's courtroom drama just took a wild turn. Enter Ben Shue, the powerhouse attorney who played a key role in Johnny Depp's legal victory over Amber Heard. The judge brought him in unexpectedly, and behind the scenes, sources say Diddy completely unraveled.
As one of the most talented actors in Hollywood, a respected artist whose name was associated with success at the box office. Today, his name is associated with a lie.
It's only day 3 of jury selection, and things are already spiraling out of control. Prosecutors just revealed that victim 3 has gone missing, and now shocking reports are linking Diddy to the alleged disappearance. His history of targeting those who speak out is no secret. Let's not forget, he was previously caught trying to contact and intimidate witnesses, even while behind bars.
Is a key witness in the Sean Diddy Combs trial backing out? Victim number 3, as she's called, was set to testify against the music mogul. The name of victim number 3 was going to be revealed when she took the stand, but the woman has apparently gone missing, and prosecutors say they've been unable to reach her.
People just get nervous, and this person could just be nervous and just has had second thoughts.
If the prosecutor can't find this witness, how might it affect the case?
Look, I don't think it's going to have a tremendous effect. The prosecution is going to call a number of alleged victims. So look, this is just one less.
Someone else is also getting cold feet. A juror sent an email to the judge asking to be removed from the panel for issues of personal well-being.
More than 160 potential jurors were called in. 49 were immediately dismissed. The rest faced a barrage of intense questions. Where do you get your news? Do you dislike Diddy? Can you handle disturbing evidence? Some admitted outright they didn't like him, while others weren't sure they could handle what's ahead. Now, the pool has been narrowed to just 35 people. Teachers, factory workers, designers, even social workers, ranging in age from 30 to 80. And every single one of them holds the power to decide Diddy's fate.
So far, 19 jurors have been qualified. The magic number here is 45, because once the panel reaches that number, the prosecution's and Combs' defense lawyers will use their strikes to get this group down to 12 jurors and a number of alternates. Here's what we know about those who have qualified so far. 2 women have said that they have been sexually assaulted decades ago in the past. They were allowed to continue on. And another woman who said that she had once been arrested for shoplifting for stealing a wand from Harry Potter's world at Universal Studios, also in that panel. Several jurors were dismissed, including one who had seen that hotel surveillance video. She had called it damning evidence, and for that reason, the judge had excused her from the panel. Jury selection will continue Tuesday morning until they get to the magic number 45 and go through those strikes. The judge thinks that will happen this week.
Then came the twist that turned the entire courtroom on its head. The judge brought in Ben Chew. Yes, that Ben Chew, the attorney who helped Johnny Depp take down Amber Heard in court. His role? To break down how high-profile celebrity trials really work. The room fell silent. Diddy's legal team was blindsided, and behind the scenes, whispers spread fast. Was this a warning shot or the beginning of a setup?
Do you also have a member of the team going through the social media of these jurors, making sure they didn't do anything? I mean, how much research can you do in terms of, did they search for something? Did they say something? I always am curious about that because you come into court the next day and you always hear a prosecutor or defense attorney say, court, we have an issue we would like to bring to your attention. Juror number 5 was looking at, it's like, how did they find that out? Is that what happens?
Well, it is in a high-stakes case like this. I mean, as you know, not all clients have the resources to hire, jury consultants and to hire investigators. But in this case, you have a defendant who could theoretically be sentenced to life in prison, who has the means. So I'm sure, or I would think, that his counsel have a team of investigators following the jurors around to the extent they can and looking for any electronic footprint.
Let's be clear. Diddy's team is monitoring jurors like it's a scene from a spy movie, combing through their online footprints while the court shrugs it off as business as usual. At the same time, genuine, honest people are being dismissed without hesitation. This isn't just a trial, it's a calculated power play, and the game feels rigged from the start.
Now, I mentioned before how can you believe the jurors? How do you know they're telling the truth? Well, I'll tell you what we've seen so far in the Combs jury selection process, you have what seems to be a lot of honesty, okay? Because you had one prospective juror who told the court that she had been sexually assaulted as a teenager, and that if the defense brings up at trial that, look, these alleged victims didn't report what they say happened to them, this juror indicated they would understand why, and they would be biased in the alleged victim's favor. This juror was excluded.
2 days in, and a bombshell has already dropped. Usually people fight for a spot on a high-profile jury, but not this one. Why? Because this isn't just another Hollywood scandal. It's a serious criminal case packed with dark, disturbing accusations. Jurors could be forced to watch graphic footage and listen to gut-wrenching testimony that will be hard to forget. And guess what? Diddy's nervous. Really nervous. Sources say he's watching jury selection like his freedom depends on it. Because it does. On the second day of jury selection in the racketeering and extortion case against Sean Diddy Combs, he appeared in court with noticeably graying hair. Federal prosecutors are working to prove that Combs used his wealth, fame, and influence to coerce women into drug-fueled orgies he called freak-offs, then silenced them through threats and intimidation. Jurors were warned in advance. They may be shown sexually explicit videos, photographs, and hear graphic language. Many already knew about the case and the evidence. One potentially damning piece, a video first obtained by CNN allegedly showing Combs in 2016 knocking then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura to the ground, kicking her and dragging her in a Los Angeles hotel. It was upsetting to watch, one woman told the judge, but I don't know the full story, so I can listen to the facts. Let's be clear, there's video of him kicking Cassie. Witnesses are saying it's disturbing, and he's worried about picking the jury. That's not just nerves, that's fear. Because when the cameras shut off and the truth comes out, no amount of fame or fortune can shield you in that courtroom. Several prospective jurors said they recognized other celebrity names expected to surface during the trial. One woman remembered Diddy from making the band. Another man said he was a fan of 90s hip-hop. But fame alone won't carry him now, not in a case like this.
This morning, day 2 of jury selection in the racketeering and sex trafficking trial of Sean Combs, seen in court with graying hair. Federal prosecutors are trying to prove Combs used his power, wealth, and fame to force women into drug-fueled orgies he called freak-offs and then threaten them into silence.
The jury questionnaire warning potential jurors there may be evidence of sexually explicit videos, photographs, and language. Many prospective jurors said they had heard of the case and this potentially damning evidence. Video first obtained by CNN showing Combs knocking then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura to the floor of a Los Angeles hotel in 2016 and kicking and dragging her. It was upsetting to watch, one woman told the judge, but I don't know the full story, so I can listen to the facts.
Many prospective jurors said they recognized the names of other celebrities that might come up at trial.
Several potential jurors knew of Combs' cultural significance. The woman said she remembered him from making the band. A man said he liked to listen to hip-hop in the 1990s.
Can't nobody hold me down.
When Combs became a chart-topping artist. To remain in the jury pool, all had to say they could be fair. The judge tried to keep things moving, so when the defense asked for a bathroom break, Combs apologized, saying, "Sorry, Your Honor, I'm a little nervous today."
When Combs rose to fame as a chart-topping artist, he likely never imagined he'd be fighting for his freedom in a courtroom. To remain in the jury pool, every potential juror had to promise they could stay impartial. The judge was determined to keep the process moving, so when the defense asked for a quick bathroom break, Combs nervously apologized, saying, "Sorry, Your Honor, I'm a little nervous today." Behind the scenes, though, things were far more chaotic. Insiders say Diddy was livid over the surprise appearance of Ben Chew. No one warned him, and when the courtroom cleared, he reportedly exploded, pacing, shouting, even slamming objects in frustration. His legal team believes Chew's sudden involvement wasn't just unexpected, it was strategic. A calculated move meant to influence the jury before the trial even begins. And Diddy, he's feeling the pressure like never before.
I think you want somebody who wants to serve, someone eager to serve, because that suggests that person might be inclined toward a celebrity like Diddy. I would also, in this case, I would want men, not because men support abuse, but I could see this being very difficult for women jurors. I would want younger jurors as well. I don't know that older jurors would
the so-called perfect juror is a young, star-struck male. Less about justice, more like casting for a fan club.
Do you care where they get their news? Do you care if they go on social media?
I wouldn't care so much about social media. Certainly watching you on Law and Crime would be a real problem. But no, I wouldn't care too much. I mean, in fact, if they were reading the celebrity media, TMZ, Rolling Stone, that might be an encouraging thing for Diddy's counsel.
So let me get this straight. If jurors get their news from TMZ or Rolling Stone, that's considered a win for Diddy. Since when does a fair trial hinge on gossip sites? It's starting to look less like they want jurors who care about the truth, and more like they're banking on people already sold on the celebrity hype.
Now, Ben, according to the court today, they expect preemptory challenges on Friday. You have a lot of jurors who saw the Cassie tape. You have a lot of jurors who were exposed to this case or something that's been going on with Sean Combs, know who he is, maybe know a list of the celebrities or places that were potentially going to be brought up in this case. Difficulty of sitting 8 weeks on this jury, but they're going to be seeing and hearing a lot. Do you think that it's going to be tough to sit a fair and impartial jury in Sean Combs' criminal case?
Well, I think they will have a fair and impartial jury. I think the problem is going to come in, with the Cassandra Ventura's tape. I mean, whether you've seen that before, you're certainly going to see that during the trial. And I think that's highly problematic, obviously, for Diddy, whether they've seen it before or not.
Yeah, because the prosecution is saying she was not only running away from Combs, she was running away from a freak-off, that there was a sex worker in that hotel room, and that goes to the charge of sex trafficking. And also racketeering, because sex trafficking is a part of that as well. Okay, so the trial's about to start. We know that Sean Combs early in the week said to the court, "I'm feeling a little nervous today." Let's say openings begin day 1, May 12th, okay? What do you advise your celebrity client to do and not to do as this trial begins and progresses for 8 weeks?
I would remind him to remember that every second he is in the courtroom, at least one juror and probably more are going to be looking at him. So he should act as if he were testifying every second he's in the courtroom.
So let me get this straight. If jurors get their news from TMZ or Rolling Stone, that's considered a win for Diddy. Since when does a fair trial hinge on gossip sites? it's starting to look less like they want jurors who care about the truth and more like they're banking on people already sold on the celebrity
Diddy has
hype.
a very good jury consultant, probably more than one, who is profiling the type of juror that would be, who would be most sympathetic to him. And I think it's wise for attorneys, even experienced attorneys, to defer for the most part to those jury consultants. Now, ultimately, it's the client's choice, and the client should be participating in the process, especially where it's here, his liberty is at stake.
And was that something that you had in your case where your client wanted to get involved in the jury selection process? Because it's been reported that Diddy has been almost like nodding to his attorneys or maybe even shaking his head regarding certain prospective jurors. Is that common? Is that what you saw?
I think that is common, and it's natural that you would want to have some role in in choosing the people who decide your fate. And it also gives the client, I think, some measure or some feeling of control in a situation where any defendant would have to feel a profound lack of control, because this is not he's used to controlling his business, his social life, and this is a situation over which he has almost no control. So this is an opportunity for him to have at least a modicum of control.
Diddy's always been in control, but now he's trying to manipulate the jury as well. This time, though, the stakes are much higher, life-changing even. These preemptory challenges aren't just a strategy, they're a fight for his future.
And these preemptory challenges, each side will get a certain amount of them to strike jurors. It doesn't have to be for cause, it could be for whatever reason they want, but there are limitations. So they can't strike jurors because of race or gender or ethnicity. How on earth is the court supposed to know that? How on earth, the defense or the prosecution's not going to come out and say that's the reason they're excluding a juror.
So jurors have already seen the Cassie tape, heard the rumors, and know all about Diddy's history. Yet we're still pretending this trial will be fair? Things are getting messy fast. One juror was dismissed after admitting they worked for HBO, the same network that just aired a documentary on Diddy. Another juror hid their connections to a criminal defense group, but somehow managed to stay in the pool. Ben Chu says this next phase is make or break for Diddy, because the wrong juror could be the one who ultimately seals his fate.
I seen that too. I seen uncomfortable to my eyes situations for sure. That I don't rock with, you heard me? That's all. I don't rock with it, you know?
And when you would see these celebrities at these parties, they was cool with the environment. They was cool with everything.
Absolutely, having a ball like it was 1999. So I don't know, bro. I'm talking about celebrities. I'm talking about big time celebrities. You dig? I was just young city. I was just Chopper. You heard me? But to see like the juggernauts, the big dogs, you dig? The people we grew up watching, it was kind of exciting too. It was weird, exciting, and because you can't believe that you're here. They are accepting you. But I don't really think they was accepting it. They just was fucking having fun. They didn't give a fuck who was there. And it was kind of like a situation towards, what you see in here don't go outside. It was kind of like that, if that makes sense. Whatever happens in here stays in here, because everybody got something to lose in here. So it was kind of like that too. So I guess that made people be okay and willingly able to do whatever they wanted to do in there. You heard me? Because they knew that at the end of the day, it wasn't going to come back out up there. That's why people were so eager and fun to do what they wanted to do in there. Just my opinion. Because everybody has something to lose.
But this is just the beginning. Prosecutors are claiming they have explosive evidence, including a 2016 hotel surveillance video showing Diddy assaulting his ex, Cassie Ventura. That clip has already aired on CNN, and while Diddy issued an apology, prosecutors argue it's just one example of a disturbing pattern that's persisted for years. They allege Diddy hosted drug-fueled sex parties he called freak-offs, where women were pressured or even coerced into participating. Court documents state he supplied ketamine, magic mushrooms, and used hidden cameras to secretly record the events. Now rapper Chopper is speaking out, revealing that Diddy has a dark side most people never see.
One of the producers over there at MTV at the time, who was super cool guy. He actually had the camera walking with us, you heard me, to Brooklyn to get the cheesecake. The first Art Dialogue interview, you heard me, that I did, he DM'd me, and I definitely talked to him. He was like, "Yeah, bruh, how you been, Chop?" I'm like, I'm straight, bruh. Appreciate you hitting me. Long time. He like, "Yeah, bruh, I appreciate your interview, you heard me, that you did on Art of Dialogue." I said, "Thank you, I appreciate you, bruh." And he was like, "You ever notice why I was shooting with y'all, and then all of a sudden you haven't seen me after that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Because one time Diddy invited me to his office and told me to suck his dick." And he was like, he said, "I damn near wanted to kill him, bro." He was like, I left the office and I quit." And so it don't, with the curse situation, you know, it don't sound far-fetched from what I've heard. You dig? I haven't ever encountered that type of situation with Diddy. Thank you, universe, because I would be in jail right now, facing life or doing life. But I haven't encountered that type of Diddy, you dig? But I don't know, bruh. If it walk like a duck and talk like a duck, obviously, it might be a duck. It might be true, bruh. That is considered sexual harassment, Sarah. I think that's considered sexual harassment, not what Sarah tried to do. You dig? So with the Kirk situation, I don't know. It just don't sound far-fetched, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. I haven't experienced that with Diddy, so I can't, I can't be like the people that exaggerate and say things that's not true. All I can say is 100 things from my experience, and my results for that answer is it don't sound far-fetched.
And that's not even the worst of it. We're talking about bizarre behavior, unsettling stories, and one chilling moment where Diddy allegedly made an unwanted sexual advance on an MTV cameraman so uncomfortable, the cameraman quit on the spot. This wasn't just awkward, it crossed a serious line.
They also say they found recordings of freak-offs, and the evidence was then used to blackmail these women if they didn't cooperate more.
Diddy's longtime ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, filing a lawsuit against them last year that changed everything.
He would direct her how to touch the sex worker, how to pour oil over her body, and he would watch these things happen while he was masturbating.
Cassie Ventura's lawsuit gave the blueprint for the Southern District of New York to investigate Sean Combs, and the lawsuits that followed gave the brick and mortar to build the case against him.
One shocking freak-off the prosecutors allege the Diddy indictment occurring around this incident involving Cassie.
The new video obtained exclusively by CNN.
Prosecutors said there was a male prostitute still in their hotel room. That, prosecutors say, shows that Cassie was trying to get out, and prosecutors in court quoted messages from Cassie talking about the bruises, the fat lip that she was left with.
Initially, Diddy denied all wrongdoing, but after the surveillance video surfaced, he spoke out on his social media.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Diddy's defense team giving a preview of their version of what was happening behind the scenes.
The defense has tried to recast, not as evidence of sex trafficking, but as the simple breakdown of a 10-year loving relationship. And the judge interrupted and said, "What's love got to do with that, with kicking
It's a man
someone?"
accused of building an empire on fear, silence, and power. From secret tapes to chilling witness testimonies, the evidence is piling up. But the real question remains, will the justice system hold someone like Diddy accountable, or will his fame and fortune shield him once again? One thing is certain, this case is about more than just headlines. It's about who faces punishment, who gets protected, and who escapes without consequence. Stay tuned. This is far from over.